What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review a collaboration mixtape by Slim Dunkin, Just Rich Gates, and Tay Dawn. Basically, this project is called Turnt Up, and it came out in the winter 2011. Now, I don't know the full bound like these folks. I know within certain extents. I know Slim Dunkin pretty well. I recently know Just Rich Gates with some of his Dirt Gang appeal and pitches like that. Some of the fairs he did on some of those projects, but I don't know Tay Dawn as much. But I want to say he was another affiliate of Brick Squad, Monopoly, and some of that type fairs. So some excellent type pitches. This is a virtual classic here. If it would have had more songs that would have been exclusive to this project within the pitch behind it, within the fair, I feel like this is definitely an excellent batch. You get a lot of factory stuff. You get a couple of table scraps of some Slim Dunkin content that he was working on in late 2010, early 2011, around the pitch of after he had just dropped like Menace to Society, his hit mixtape from late 2010. Just Rich Gates was on the come up. He was blowing up as well as far as those pitches kind of happened, and Tay Dawn, I think, was doing his thing as well. So it's just kind of within the pitch behind it, getting some great type fairs. Slim Dunkin had a pretty ferocious 2010. He was definitely a great wingman to Waka Flocka for folks who didn't know. Just in the pitch, basically Gucci Mane's slime was Waka Flocka slime was Slim Dunkin, some of that type fair, and these are further affiliates within that fold. Some of these folks, Just Rich Gates and Tay Dawn, can kind of be Brick Squad Monopoly, but I also feel like they were more Slim Dunkin slime in a lot of senses. Just the concept that in 2011, Slim Dunkin was on the come up as far as introducing his particular folks as far as this pitch can happen. Now this is a little bit before the Dirt Gang project started to happen in like the summer of 2011 and before Debo, before his other wingman Debo was coming up. But I want to say, I don't know his full bound, but I'm underneath the impression that Just Rich Gates might have dropped some mixtapes in 2010 somewhere as far as this pitch can happen. He did at least have a hit song around that particular time, which was he had some ones like, I want to say he had some ones like Action Pack and some ones like that. He's pretty good. Just Rich Gates was definitely someone that would do drill as well. The same sort of style. If you like Flockavelli songs like G-Check and some of those type songs, Karma, some of those type ones, and Bang, some of those type pitches, Just Rich Gates was definitely a cousin to doing that particular style. Slim Dunkin kind of does it on here with songs like Offsides, but he doesn't do it as full bound. And really, Slim Dunkin's not terribly on this project that much. He kind of just spills a lot of leftovers from Menace to Society, his late 2010 project on here, which is kind of unfortunate. It would have been nice. I mean, you'd at least get a couple appetizers from Slim Dunkin, but for the most part, you don't really get his full bound much. He's not on here as heavily, and he really doesn't feature on that many songs either, which is kind of unfortunate, but I do like the introduction of these other folks. There are some killer Just Rich Gates songs. There are some killer Tay Dawn songs. Just in the pitch, it's a pretty vicious type project. There's some bonus folks on here on top of that. You do get some folks like JCE, who I don't know that well, and Waka Flocka kind of spills onto this project occasionally as well. This is in the pitch behind it. So it's just a good Brick Squad Monopoly type. So it's just a good Brick Squad Monopoly type affair as far as this pitch can have a good amalgamation. Just on the virtual cusp of being a classic within the sense behind it. Definitely clever concept. Definitely miss moments like this as far as those pitches can happen. Just three giants doing like a collaboration project and just nailing it with like three commercial mixtape giants doing a collaboration project and nailing it with flair and ease as far as those pitches can happen. Just some excellent type fairs. So it's a good concept for that. But really, for the most part, there's not terrible much product really talked about within this project. It's just kind of more low-key within the sense. If I had to guess, I'd probably say this mixtape probably got like 50,000 downloads across the time when it was up on Datpiff, some of those type fairs. Now, I did not check for this project back in the day when I was messing with Datpiff, even as recent as like 2022 or 2023. It's only been within like the past 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months that I have known about this particular product just to be able to say about it. But I found this particular product because I heard on like another Slim Dunkin project that there was a hit song on there. I think it was like, I don't know if it was like the Dirt Gang project where there was a hit song by Slim Dunkin called Offsides, which I wanted to find the original song, and I found out that the original Offsides was on this project, and it's kind of the same thing here. The thing about it is there are a lot of remixes on this particular product, and some of these I do wish that the original song would have been on here. I like the fact that the remixes are on here, but it makes me question where some of the original songs going to stem from, which leads me, there's one in particular like Action Pack remix, which is pretty great, Just Rich Gates song, which makes me wonder where that original type song came from. I probably feel like Just Rich Gates probably had some early type songs. Is when these songs get remixes, it obviously implies that these are hit songs within the pitch behind it. Just within the fair, as far as saying that probably the original Action Pack was a pretty big deal back in 2010, maybe even 2009 pitches like that. There's just some ones like that on here. There's another one that's by Slim Dunkin that's We Playing Defense remix, and the unfortunate thing is Slim Dunkin doesn't really rap on this particular song, but it makes me question where the original We Playing Defense was from, because I reviewed reviewed most of his projects from 2010, so I question where the original one kind of stemmed from as far as this pitch kind of having some of those type ones. Same thing with Tay Don with his Robin Season remix, some of those type fairs. There's just some ones like that on here. I'm going to have to do more research because clearly there's more projects defined within that concept of more Brick Squad, Monopoly type fair. But yeah, just be able to say and stuff. So out of 20 songs on this mixtape, I'm just going to go through these and dissect these because there's not really like singles off this project. If there was, I'd probably say the closest thing would probably be Offside. So it seems like that's the largest kind of anchor of the song on here. But like there's only 3 songs out of 20 I don't recommend, and those 3 songs would be Dunk Remix, Haters, and Ice Grill Remix. So basically the surprising thing is the Waka Flocka moments are kind of some of the more clumsy type ones on here. He really did not come through his full bound, which is kind of interesting because he just had like the hit album Flockabilly, and Flocka was kind of cresting throughout his popularity and just kind of in like a prime era type spot for his particular times in late 2010, early 2011, so I would have figured he would have been in his sweet spot enough to have nailed every verse that he particularly was on, but he didn't really do that. I feel like Ice Girl is just a real clumsy type one, just kind of felt like a plotting one that just didn't really, this is more like a Flocka song with a little bit of other folks on there, but just didn't really nail the appeal. It's probably damn well like the most uncomposed song on this project. Same thing with Haters. That one kind of had like a kids song type. It was just kind of one of those type ones. Felt like just like a children's song type display as far as those pitch kind of happen. I mean, I like the concept of what it was trying to do, but just the way it nailed it, just the way that Haters attempted to nail it was just not that cohesive. Just in the pitch behind it, didn't really have the effectualness behind it. It just was not that affable one. And then the Dunk remix, like I do like the original Dunk, but just adding Roscoe Dash and like the other folks on there didn't really contribute much. The original Dunk from Built for Interrogation from Slim Dunkin's 2010 mixtape is just as good, so it's really not too much real difference to fuck with the remix compared to that one, so it's just within the tones. I didn't see the recommendation. And then on top of that, out of the remaining 17 songs off this project, there are 3 songs that are on other projects, and most of these are Slim Dunkin songs. Basically, Twitter That, Same Shit Remix, and Man Down are all to be found on basically Slim Dunkin's Menace to Society mixtape from late 2010, and Same Shit Remix is a hit song by Slim Dunkin and Waka Flocka that's been poppin' and has been on projects since 2009. I think since at least Twin Towers, one of those type ones that he dropped in 2009. So it's just been a hit song definitely, but just kind of the concept that these are songs I've talked about in the past. So it's just within the fairs. That actually means that out of 20 songs on here, I wound up recommending 14 full blown, but it would actually be 17 out of 20. But the fact that there's 3 other songs there on other projects just kind of within the appeal. So basically, the score I'm going to give this mixtape, me recommending at least full-blown 14 out of 20 plus the 3 almost songs. Normally I would give a 17 out of 20, a 10 out of 10, but I'm going to give this particular mixtape like a 9.25 out of 10. I mean, it really is blisteringly excellent. It has like prime type appeal as far as this pitch can happen. It has plenty of drill on here, plenty of good night venue fairs in this pitch like that. It's just within the tone being able to do it, but it's just the aspect that some of these repeat songs and a few duds on here just slag it a little bit, but not by much. I mean, for the most part, this is a virtual classic. It has real great blistering appeal, and it introduces these folks, further fleshes out Just Rich Gates. Slim Dunkin was pretty large relatively around this time. Just Rich Gates gets some good headway, and then I would also say that Tay Don has some good appeals about this particular fair as well. So it's just within the pitch, but yeah, we'll just go through the list of some of these. So basically, Offsides is probably one of the best songs on here. This is definitely one of the most immediate ones to go for. It's like a classic kind of early 2010s drill highlight. I would definitely feel like here. It feels just like Flockabilly. Songs like Bang and G-Check, some of those type ones. It's vintage kind of Lex Luger type drill, I'd have to say, and it's like a Liddy kind of late time splitter, kind of get within that tone. It's real excellent type one. Probably the closest thing to a single off this project. This is probably one of the ones that you need to go for when you download this tape. This has the most energy. Iced Out Shotty and Offsides is a Slim Dunkin song. Iced Out Shotty is another Slim Dunkin song. This is one of 2 or 3 songs that are by Slim Dunkin that are not on other projects, so these are some good type ones. Iced Out Shot is like a more typical kind of vanilla night venue ambience kind of get here. This is a thunderous drill type song, but it's a little bit calmer within the pitch and tone of it. It's just kind of some mellow out noise to kind of have. It's like the aspects of this type fair, just good concepts for that. It's basically like getting drilled. It's not within the aspect of the usual stand on couches and break things type tone within the pitch behind. It's just probably, like I would say, like a 7.25 or 7.5 out of 10 in terms of like the crazy factor, but it is a great song. I would definitely listen to this very often. It's just within the pitch. It's not as thunderous as like Offsides or like Robin Season remix, some of those type ones, or Action Pack remix, some of those type ones. Black on Black is a nice one. It's like a sparkling and haunting kind of 3-6 Mafia vibes about this particular song. Just a late run, kind of grabs some snackage, kind of smoking like the late era, I'd say about these. There's just some good type tones for a lot of these on here. It's a lot of good aspects about some of these type ones. ones. Now, I would say that Black on Black is probably not going to distinguish every single time who does these particular songs, just because I'd have to refer back. I don't know it's full blown, but I just would say Black on Black is a Tay Dawn type beat to get to that one. But yeah, Give It To Me is a nice one. Now, this is like a rubbery, kind of slowed down diva music to kind of get here. Just some basic gauze. I would definitely feel like there's some relative wilds with some house party catches. I'd have to say, if you have some bellas or something like that, just in the era of recent bellas you've been messing with, that house parties pitches like that, good type fair to have the initial few moments afterward, a few several days, weeks afterward, just within the pitch of hanging with said fellas, as far as those pitch kind of having said chicas, as far as those pitch kind of having just within the pitch behind it. Just kind of goes along with that. It's basic hit concept. Waka Flocka's on. This is a song that Flocka just nails a little bit better within the pitch. There is a little bit of house party type fare on here. Not as much as like typical kind of Slim Dunkin type fare, but it's just within the concept. I mean, most of this is pretty thunderous. This is definitely like some triumphant kind of his project is definitely like some triumphant kind of bravado in terms of like night step out and just the overall craze of just getting to like the product of like venue craze is just the sort of stuff when you think of songs like Hard in the Paint and Offsides and like Karma and some of those type of songs by Waka Flocka and folks like that. Love the gun sounds, hit songs like that just have like the most bravado and energy. Some of the Just Rich Gates ones that he did in 2011, can't think of them as full bound, but just a lot of those ones. Dunk by Slim Dunkin song Dunk off of Built for Interrogation, some of those type pitches, just some good type fare. Rock and Roll, Lock and Load's a nice one. It's like a throwback to rock rap from like the mid-late 2000s. Definitely reminds me of like 2007 type fare with folks like Shot Boy, some of those type pitches. Just like some good house party malaise I would feel like here, and this like good for like a hella slurred night. It's unfortunate that someone like Slim Dunkin wasn't on this particular song. I like the product. Just Rich Gates is on here. I like the concept of this particular one. Tay Dawn is on this song as well, as far as those pitch kind of happens. Just within the tone that it just feels like a relatively just rock rap variation of like some sort of house party within the pitch behind it. Just red cups everywhere, pitches like that, just feeling hella woozy as far as those pitch kind of happen. It's like the tone behind it. They Be Choosing Part 2 is another quality one. It's like a spicy kind of house party bounce to kind of get here. Just some get crunk local fun I would definitely feel like within that tone. Just definitely want to get hella slammed and swashed too as far as those pitch kind of happen. Definitely make some noise within the pitch behind it. So it's just one of those type ones. Probably one of the more hype ones on here. Interesting type pitch that they found in the chat from 36 Mafia to kind of throw her on this particular song. Works pretty well within that fare. Just some good typical kind of just house party type noise within the pitch. Just some more typeness kind of get just within the same night, I would say, with songs like Rock and Roll, Lock and Load, but just within the pitch a little bit more frenetic type energy. It's a little bit more spice of just the excitement of just having red cups in your hand pitches like that, and just the embrace of this social kind of conduct, I'd say. Good type tone for that. Another nice one that kind of has that particular fare is JCE Got the Kush. Now, I don't know JCE is full blown well, but this is one of the few songs he's on here. This like a Lydian pasted kind of craze that's kind of get within that tone. Just feeling hella wired and torch evening. It's definitely like a feeling hella wired and torch type vibe to kind of get off this particular time. Definitely some evening excitement, a good song to go ham to. So I would definitely say JCE Got the Kush is one that works pretty damn well for like some venue type noises in the pitch, but considering how low key it is, I would also say the pace behind it makes it feel like a house party type noise, or just to be able to have within that pitch. So some good type fare. Action Pack Remix is a real immediate type one. This is one of those ones I was talking about where I do question where the original one was from. I'm going to have to look around to find out where it particularly was, but the remix is definitely pretty stellar within the pitch behind it. I say this is like a stock kind of vicious drill night embrace kind of get within that tone. Just feels like Ferrari Boys days and Lex Luger type fare within the pitch behind it. It's like a great slam to kind of have off this particular one. It says that Jay Quan was on this particular song, which is an interesting type pitch. Kind of get that. Makes me question like the appeal as far as that particular kind of went. Now, I recognize the concept. It's just kind of the concept of me breezing through some of these type ones. I'm paying attention just to the product of the viciousness and just determining how heavy hitting these particular songs are. But Rachel Music says that Jay Quan is on this particular song, which is some excellent type fare considering that he was around way out in 2010. It's good type pitch. Another nice stock highlight would be Robin Season Remix. It's like a super morose and leery kind of night creeping to kind of get here. Just some demon time product I would definitely feel like, and it's kind of amidst like the late wind, I'd have to say. I would say Robin Season Remix goes pretty well with Black on Black, some of those type pitches I'd have to say in particular. Just some good type fare. Just kind of amidst the night wind, definite snack run type music just in the fare, getting like some corn nuts, some of those type pitches, frozen burritos, just some good snackage to be able to have in like the night wind. Just really have some good times, be wired as hell, some of those type pitches, just feeling alive and just feeling alive and lively, wide awake within the night type air and pitches like that. Good Taco Bell run type music. Mix Up is a nice one as well as like a brewing kind of late night flip mode turn up, I'd have to say here. Just feeling nice, kind of task relief to kind of get within that tone. This would probably be like the closest thing to like some work shift relief I'd have to say about this particular song. There's like some good vehicle rumble about this one, I'd have to say, and a good slow creep to kind of have just in the pitch. Just there's another one on here like I was saying like that. I'd definitely say Mix Up is like some just got done with work shift type excitement in a more Hustlers makeshift type format, I had to say. This reminds me a lot of Slim Dunkin's song Lights On from the late fall of 2011 and the summer of 2011 as far as those pitches kind of happen, just as far as the pitch kind of goes along with it. Just within the fair of some of that, this good vehicle rumble, just the concept of this, hearing folks hearing you from like a block or two away as far as those pitches kind of having good nice bounce about it. And this is just a slow creep type song, just appreciate the times. Just real nice conduct of this like traverse pitches like that, just the concept of this feeling good, Lokes on some that type fair, just looking nice pitches like that, just the standard fair, just like a floss type song, kind of get within that drill type sense, I'd have to say. Real nice appeal of that. But yeah, like I was saying, this is probably the closest song on here to like some work shift or like some makeshift relief as far as those pitches can happen. But I would have to say that another one that's somewhat similar to that would be Get Ya Aura Up. It's like a vintage kind of rev night commute to kind of get within that tone. Just kind of like some standard kind of excited goings around, I'd have to say, within that pitch. Just some Lex Luger kind of rap errands up within the pitches behind it. So this is Get Ya Aura Up is like a drill type song, kind of within the concept of still having errands to do just within those pitches, just paying those last few bills, hitting up like the cell phone spot, some of those type pitches, getting like a cell phone charge cord, some of that type fare, getting some last minute groceries, picking up like the stuff that you need to make like spaghetti or something like that, just in the tone of just some good context before stepping out of bed or just pitches like that. I mean, it kind of works within the tone, maybe just last minute errands just within a drill type sense, or just the product of getting ready to step out for like some good turn up within the pitch behind it. Some ones that lead to songs like Action Pack and Offsides and some of those type fares, Iced Out Shotty, some of those type fares. Just kind of a conduit type song within the pitch behind it, but real has some excellent type fare. Just feels like a Lex Luger continued highlight, good type pitch. I think the only other song I haven't talked about on here full bound is just Down South Gutta music, I'd have to say. It's like a grim and trill kind of hitting Lex Luger drill embrace to kind of get within that tone of it. Just some routine noise for some hype nights, I'd have to say, within that pitch. So it's just like some stock heat just within that aspect. Just feels like an album type, Down South Gutta music just feels like an album type cut that you would get from Waka Flocka or Gucci Mane, some of those type folks. Just a standard stock kind of drill type hitter within the pitch behind it. Just good type fair, routine kind of noise like I was saying, but it works for like the appeal for what it does as far as those pitch kind of happen. So it's just wall to wall with the quality behind this particular product. I'd have to say just real excellent type fair. So yeah, I think that's the coverage about this particular product here, just being able to say all these. But yeah, there's one more on here. We love that. This is another nice one. It's like a routine kind of neighborhood rattling, I'd have to say, about this one here. Just the excitement of getting gussied up for like some venue craze. I definitely feel like about this one. Just good song to chirp some pals as far as those pitch gonna happen. Just hit them up, say, hey, let's get to this place as far as those pitch gonna happen. We love that. This feels earlier in the night as far as those pitches kind of happen. This the initial kind of dap getting pitches like that. Some of the moments of probably like 7:30, 8 p.m. before the drinks are really full blown in your system. Pitches like that. It's a good primer just to miss the concept of just getting there and just the minty type feel. Just the aspect of like, all right, what am I going to do? Some pitches like that. Just the initial conduct of venue type noise, hitting up bells, pitches like that. Just a standard fare, just like night embrace, some of that type fare. Good conduct for some of that. Really works within the appeal. Some of these just work for like a good stock blitzing type night. Obviously ones like Offsides and Action Pack Remix are further in the night, just amidst like the craziness, but there are some ones even like house party type bops like JCE got the Kush and They Be Choosing Part 2, but there are some ones just in the conduct of just like initial type moments I'd have to say within the fare behind it. Songs like Get Ya Aura Up, and we love that. Some of those type pitches are just the conduct of just some straightening as far as those pitches can happen, so it's a good type tone. But yeah, this mixtape gets a 9.25 out of 10, just what I'd say. Just the excellence on here is pretty shrill as far as those pitches can happen. Just really appreciate the appeal behind it. The social score I'll probably give a 10 out of 10. I just look within the pitch, despite the fact that I realize that this is a more low-key type product. You have to know about Waka Flocka, Gucci Mane, Slim Dunkin, some of those type folks to have the full bound kind of appreciation, but it's really not that much like a learning curve to really adapt to some of this type of stuff. The hits are on here. Just really boils down to whether or not what you think of drill and some of those type moments, because these club type moments, these overall shrill outing and social type fare, even the house party type moments and some of the makeshift type fare is really splitting on here. Keeps the excitement going, really is a thrill the whole way. Just pitch like that has the energetic type fare and just overall the pace and catchiness as far as it is. And when I say catchiness, I mean like in terms of keeping your attention as far as those pitches can happen. So it's just a catching type project, but just within the tones, I would say 10 social, just in the aspect, a lot of good feisty type energy and just overall night commerce and just shrillness for like tons of runs, snack runs, venue runs, House Party Divas, pitch like that, just in the fair behind it. It's a makeshift kind of relative commerce. Just look after it. So in terms of the future, the unfortunate thing is that Slim Dunkin is deceased. I don't know what's happened with Just Rich Gates. Waka Flocka is not as full bound around these days. I don't know what happened with Tay Dawn as far as those pitches gonna happen. But I would have to say there are some more products. Obviously, I want to get to the ones like the original Action Pack by Just Rich Gates. Wondering where that stemmed from. Apparently, there's some other Slim Dunkin type projects like the one where he dropped the We Playing Defense original song system. Ones to kind of get to in there. This is kind of a secret one that I was talking about before that I just happened to find. So it's just within the pitches. There's probably some more of these. We'll get to some of them, but I would definitely say this is like a virtual kind of early 2010s mixtape classic, like so many others from these folks.